Ladies, let me tell you something. If a man is hiding another woman, he will not slip up in the big ways. He will not leave lipstick on his collar. He will not accidentally call you by her name. No, baby. He will slip up in 5 small, quiet, almost invisible ways. Ways you have probably already seen and talked yourself out of. You've been told you're paranoid. You've been told you're insecure. You've been told you watch too many movies and read too much into things. But here's the brutal truth. Your gut has been right more times than you've given it credit for. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why. Have you ever been lying next to a man and he turns his phone face down on the nightstand and something in your chest just drops? You couldn't explain it. He didn't do anything wrong, technically, but your body knew before your mind did. Sister, that feeling has a name. And by the end of this, you're not only going to understand it, you're going to know the 5 exact behaviors that confirm it, the psychology behind every single one, and the one power move that puts the truth on the table without you ever having to beg for it. So sit down, get comfortable, and let me break this down for you. Now hear me on this before we go any further. I am not here to make you suspicious of every man who breathes. That is not what this is. A good man deserves your trust, and I will never teach you to poison a healthy relationship with paranoia. But I am here to tell you that there is a difference between intuition and insecurity. And most women have been trained to confuse the two, to doubt the very thing that was designed to protect them. See, here's what you need to understand about how this works. When a man is hiding another woman, he is not living one life. He is living 2. And baby, 2 lives require management. They require scheduling. They require energy and storylines and little adjustments he doesn't even realize he's making. That is the whole secret right there. The lie is never what gets him caught. It's the management of the lie. It's the small corrections, the phone that flips, the schedule that shifts, the affection that flickers on and off like a bulb with a bad connection. And here's what men are wired to do. A man compartmentalizes. That's the word. Women tend to blend. Your love life touches your friendships, your mood, your work, your whole world. Men are built different. A man can put you in one box and her in another box and walk between those boxes like rooms in a house, closing each door behind him. He is not sitting up at night tortured by guilt the way you would be. He is managing logistics. And I'm not saying that to make you angry. I'm saying that to wake you up, because once you understand that he's running a system, you stop looking for a confession and you start watching the system. Systems have patterns. Patterns have cracks, and cracks, sister, are where the light gets in. Let me tell you about a woman I know. Let's call her Denise. Denise was with a man for 2 years. Good man. On paper. Called her every night. Brought her flowers on her birthday. Met her mama. And Denise had this little feeling, just a whisper, that something was off. Nothing she could point to. So she did what most women do. She asked her girlfriends, and they said, "Girl, you're tripping. That man adores you." She asked her own heart, and her heart said, "Don't ruin a good thing." So she swallowed the whisper. 8 months later, she found out there was another woman the entire time. And you know what Denise said to me? She didn't say, "I'm shocked." She said, I knew the whole time. I just didn't have the words for what I knew. That is why we're here. I'm going to give you the words, because your intuition is not a feeling. It's data. It's your spirit collecting evidence faster than your mind can file it. Every time his story wobbled by half an inch, every time his phone went face down, every time he was suddenly too busy on a night he used to be free, your spirit logged it, filed it, stacked it. And one day that stack got heavy enough to sit on your chest, at night. That's not crazy. That's accounting. So let's open the books. 5 things a man does when he's hiding another woman. And I want you to listen, not with fear, but with clarity. Because clarity, baby, is not the enemy of love. Clarity is the doorway to real love, whether that's with him, cleaned up and honest, or with the man who's actually coming. Number 1, his phone develops a religion. Now, everybody's got a phone. Everybody's got privacy. I am not talking about privacy. Privacy is this is mine. Secrecy is this is hidden from you. And there is a Grand Canyon between those two things. And women fall into that canyon every single day because a man told them they were the same. Here's what it looks like. When you two started, his phone lived anywhere, face up on the table, on the couch between you. He'd hand it to you to look at a video, to pick a restaurant, to answer his mama. The phone was just a phone. And then one day, and you probably can't even tell me when, the phone got a bodyguard. It goes face down now. It goes in his pocket when he showers. It tilts away from you at a 45-degree angle, like he's defusing a bomb. Notifications that used to pop up with full previews now say nothing but notification. And if you walk behind him while he's typing, the screen sleeps, just like that. Magic. And if you ask about it, Lord, if you ask about it, here comes the sermon. Why are you so insecure? Don't you trust me? I need my privacy. I'm a grown man. And now somehow you're the one apologizing. You're the one with the problem. Sister, listen to me carefully. That is called deflection. And deflection is the tax a guilty man pays with your confusion. Let me break down what's really happening inside his mind. A man who has nothing to hide is careless with his phone. Not careful, careless. Because there's no inventory to protect. But a man who is managing a second life knows that phone is the whole warehouse. Every thread, every photo, every saved name under a fake name. So the phone can't just be a phone anymore. It has to be guarded, scheduled, controlled. And here's the part that should make your eyes open wide. He doesn't even know he's doing it half the time. The guarding is automatic. It's instinct, which means it's not a decision you can talk him out of. It's a behavior you can observe. You don't need his password, baby. You need his pattern. Does the phone have more security than the relationship? That's your answer. I knew a woman, let's call her Rachel. Rachel's man kept his phone so protected it was funny. Face down at dinner, face down at the movies, face down at her own birthday dinner. And Rachel, God bless her, convinced herself this was a boundary. She even defended it to her sister. He's just private. Then one Sunday his phone rang while he was in the garage, and she picked it up just to bring it to him. And the screen lit up with a name saved as Marcus Work with a heart emoji. Marcus from work with a heart. Rachel told me the strangest part wasn't the name. It was that the phone being face down for a year suddenly made perfect sense. The pattern had been the confession the whole time. She just needed the translation. So here's what you do. You stop asking to see the phone. Asking makes you the auditor, and auditors get performed for. Instead, you watch. You watch whether the guarding is new. You watch whether it relaxes when he's comfortable, because a man with one life forgets to guard it sometimes. A man with 2 lives never forgets. Never. And that consistency, that discipline around a little glass rectangle tells you everything his mouth won't. You are not paranoid for noticing. You are not insecure for asking. You are a woman reading the room she lives in. And any man who makes you feel crazy for seeing what's directly in front of your face is telling on himself louder than any notification ever could. Number 2, his time develops holes in it. Now this one right here is where most women get played the longest, because time holes don't look like betrayal. They look like life. They look like work and stress, and baby, you know how it is. But let me tell you something about a man and his time, and I need you to write this on your heart. A man makes time for what he wants, and he makes excuses for what he manages. Read that again. Time for what he wants, excuses for what he manages. When a man is hiding another woman, his schedule stops being a schedule and starts being a puzzle. He was always free on Thursdays. Now Thursdays are complicated. He used to answer at lunch. Now lunch is crazy at work, baby. There are evenings that just don't add up. He says he was at the gym, but he's not tired. He says he was with his boys, but none of his boys mention it. He says he worked late, but he's home exactly as fresh as he left. And the holes always have one thing in common. They are unverifiable. You can't check them without feeling like a detective. And he is counting on you, hating that feeling more than you love the truth. See, here's what men are wired to do when they're running 2 lives. They build a schedule with load-bearing lies. He can't just disappear randomly. That would make you ask questions. So he creates recurring cover, a standing late meeting, a project season, a friend who's suddenly going through a divorce and needs him every Friday. Why recurring? Because recurring cover only has to be sold once. You accept it the first time, and then it becomes wallpaper. It becomes, oh, that's just his Thursday thing. Baby, the brilliance of the scheme is that after a month, you stop questioning the hole because the hole has become part of the furniture. Let me tell you about Tasha. Tasha's man worked inventory nights twice a month. 2 years, twice a month, like clockwork. He'd come home at 1 a.m, shower, slide into bed, kiss her forehead. And Tasha built her whole piece around that schedule. She texted her girls, inventory night, wine, and movies at mine. She made the lie comfortable for him. She furnished it. You know how she found out? His company doesn't do night inventory. Never has. A new girl at his job mentioned it casually at a Christmas party. We're so lucky we don't do overnights like other warehouses. And Tasha said the room tilted. 2 years of Thursdays, gone in one sentence from a stranger. And here's the reframe, because I need you to hear this part with your whole chest. You are not stupid for believing him. You are not weak for building your life around his word. You did what a loving woman does. You trusted the schedule of the man you loved. The failure was never your trust. The failure was his character. Don't you dare turn this into, I should have known. You knew what he gave you to know. That's on him. Period. So here's what you do instead. You stop tracking his time and you start tracking the math. Not where was he, but does his life add up? Energy is math. Money is math. Stories are math. A man working late twice a week should be more tired, more paid, or more stressed about work. If he's none of the three, the hours are going somewhere. And listen, you don't interrogate. You simply stop furnishing his holes with your benefit of the doubt. You let the holes sit there empty and you watch what he does to fill them. A truthful man fills holes with proof without being asked.
He volunteered.
Baby, look what Kevin sent me from the job. A lying man fills holes with irritation. Why do you always need to know everything? The response to a hole tells you what's buried in it. Number 3, he gives you affection on a dimmer switch. Oh, this one is cruel, sister, because it's the one that makes you feel like you're losing your mind. 1 week, he cannot keep his hands off you. He's texting you at noon. He's planning trips. He's talking about the future like it's already framed on the wall. And the next week, a stranger. Polite, distant, present in body, gone in spirit. And you're standing in the kitchen, replaying every word you said for 2 weeks, trying to find the mistake. What did I do? What did I say? Did I gain weight? Did I get boring? Did I ask for too much? Stop. Stop right there. Listen to me. His inconsistency is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of his bandwidth. Here's what's really happening inside his mind. A man with one woman pours into that one woman. His emotional energy, his charm, his flirtation, his future talk, it all flows in one direction. But a man managing 2 women has a divided supply. And emotion, baby, is not unlimited. When he's investing over there, the newness, the chase, the performance, the tank runs low over here. You get the dimmer turned down. Not off. Off would make you leave. Down. Just enough light to keep you in the room. Just enough warmth to keep you from asking the big questions. And then when things cool off over there, or when his guilt starts whispering, or when he senses you drifting, whoosh, the dimmer flies up. Flowers. Compliments. I don't know what I'd do without you. And you exhale because, oh, thank God he's back. He's not back. He's rebalancing. You are not experiencing his love. You are experiencing his management. And I know this hurts to hear, but I'd rather hurt you with the truth than comfort you with a lie, because the lie is what's been keeping you up at night. Real love is not intensity. Real love is consistency. A man's steady Tuesday tells you more than his spectacular Saturday. Any man can be amazing for a weekend when he's trying to secure you. The question is who he is on an ordinary Wednesday when there's nothing to win and nothing to fix. That man, the Wednesday man, that's the husband. That's the truth. Everything else is theater. I knew a woman named Maya. Maya kept a journal, and I'm so glad she did, because when she came to me, she brought it. And we flipped through it together. And sister, it was all right there in her own handwriting. The weeks he was distant lined up with the weeks she couldn't reach him much. The weeks he was suddenly Romeo lined up with. The weeks after she'd pulled back a little, after she'd been too busy to text right away, after she'd posted a picture where she looked too good. His affection wasn't connected to their relationship at all. It was connected to his fear of losing his place in her life. She wasn't being loved. She was being retained. There's a difference, and that difference will cost you years if you don't learn to see it. So here's what you do. You stop riding the dimmer. When he turns it up, you don't melt. You observe. When he turns it down, you don't chase, you observe. You become a scientist of his consistency. And here's the reframe I need you to tattoo on your spirit. You are not hard to love. You have never been hard to love. A woman is not a mood ring that changes based on a man's secret life. If his love flickers, the problem is the wiring in his house, not the light in you. Don't you ever let a man's divided attention convince you that you're difficult to adore. You are not difficult to adore. You are just sharing a supply that was supposed to be all yours. And while we're here, let me give you a warning, because this is where most women mess up. When the dimmer drops, the natural instinct is to turn yourself up, to cook more, love more, bend more, sparkle more, audition for the role you already have. Baby, no, stop auditioning. You do not compete for a position you hold. When you respond to his distance with increased effort, you teach him that distance is profitable. You teach him that neglect earns rewards. And a man who learns that lesson will dim you on purpose for the rest of your life. So when the light drops, you don't perform. You notice. You stay still. Stillness is information. Let his silence speak. And don't you dare interrupt it with begging. Number 4, he keeps you out of the frame of his life. Now, let me paint you a picture because you've lived this even if you've never named it. You've been with this man 8 months, a year, 2 years. And you realize one day in the shower or at a red light that you have never been to his place when anyone else was there. You've never met his friends as his woman. His social media looks like he assembled his life with tweezers. No trace of you. Not a shadow. Not a shoe in the corner of a photo. When you're out together and he runs into somebody he knows, there's this half second, this beat where he doesn't know how to introduce you. This is Maya. This is Maya. Not my girl Maya. Not my lady. Just a first name floating out there unattached like you two met in the parking lot. Sister, listen to me carefully. A man who is proud of you shows you off. A man who is hiding you stores you. And I'm not saying every man has to post you online. Some men aren't posters, and that's fine. That's not what this is about. This is about a pattern of keeping you in a sealed room of his life, separate from his people, separate from his routine, separate from his public identity. Because here's the brutal truth nobody wants to tell you. You can't have 2 full relationships in one overlapping world. The worlds would collide. So he keeps you in separate airspace. And the woman he hides is almost never the woman he's ashamed of. She's the woman he's not finished with the other one for. She is the contingency. She is the spare key. And baby, you did not survive everything you've survived to be anybody's spare key. Let me break down the psychology because this one has layers. When a man introduces you to his world, he's doing something deeper than manners. He's closing doors. Every introduction is a little announcement to his friends, to other women, to himself. It says, I'm accounted for now. A man hiding another woman cannot afford those announcements. So he keeps you in what I call the gray zone. Enough intimacy to keep you invested, zero visibility to keep his options alive. And he'll sell you the gray zone as maturity. I don't do social media relationships. I keep my private life private. Why do we need labels? Isn't what we have enough? Notice how every one of those sentences sounds evolved and enlightened while functioning as a padlock. That's not depth, baby. That's a door with no handle on your side. Let me tell you about Denise again, because Denise had a second chapter. After the first heartbreak, she met a man who did everything right except one thing. She existed nowhere in his visible life. 6 months in, she'd met one coworker accidentally at a gas station. And when she gently brought it up, he gave her a speech about moving slow this time and protecting what they have from outside noise. It sounded so wise, she felt shallow for wanting more. Then his cousin's wedding came. She'd heard about it for weeks. He went alone, told her it was just family, it'd be boring for you. A woman he was also seeing was at that wedding. Introduces to the family as a friend for now. Denise found out because the cousin's wife posted photos, and there he was in the suit she'd helped him pick, standing next to a woman who had never once been kept out of the frame. Denise told me the worst part wasn't the other woman. It was realizing she'd spent 6 months being invisible on purpose. Somebody was curating her absence. So here's what you do, and hear me on this. You stop asking to be included and you start noticing that you're not. Asking puts you in the position of requesting what a proud man offers freely. A man who wants you in his life opens the door before you reach for the handle. So your move is not persuasion. It's observation and consequence. You name it once, calmly, like a woman reading weather. I've noticed I'm not part of your world out there. That's information for me, not a fight, not an ultimatum screamed at midnight. A data point delivered by a woman who knows her value. And this is the part that matters. You watch what he does with the next 30 days. Because a man who simply didn't realize will move fast to fix it. He'll be almost embarrassed he didn't think of it. A man who kept you hidden on purpose will give you a masterpiece of an excuse. The excuse is the answer, sister. The excuse is the confession wearing a suit. And you are not asking for too much. Let me say it plain. Wanting to exist in your own relationship is not needy. Wanting to meet his people is not pressure. Wanting to be claimed in daylight is not insecurity. You are not a secret. You are not a rumor. You are not This Is Maya. You are a whole woman, and whole women get introduced with pride or they get gone. Those are the only two honest options on the menu. Number 5. He starts fights right before he needs freedom. Oh, this one is the snake in the grass, baby. This is the one that once you see it, you will never unsee it for the rest of your life. It's Friday afternoon. Everything's fine. You two have been good all week. And then out of nowhere, he picks a fight. Something small. The tone of a text. A dish. Something you said 3 Tuesdays ago that he's suddenly never gotten over. And the fight escalates weirdly fast. Like he's driving it. Like he's got somewhere to be. And before you know it, he's saying, I need space. Or I can't do this right now. And he's gone. Gone for the night. Gone for the weekend. And then watch this part. Sunday evening or Monday morning, he cools off, he softens. Maybe he even apologizes. And you're so relieved the storm is over that you don't notice the storm had schedules. Sister, the fight was not the problem. The fight was the exit. He didn't get angry and leave. He needed to leave and got angry. Read that again, slowly, because it will rearrange your whole history with some men. He needed to leave, so he got angry. The argument was manufactured the way a jailer manufactures a diversion. Not because there was a fire, but because he needed the guards looking the other way. And the cruelest part, he lets you believe it was your fault. He lets you spend the whole weekend rehearsing your apology, rehearsing what you'll do differently, shrinking yourself into a woman who won't start things next time. Meanwhile, he had a pre-scheduled free weekend with a built-in alibi. We were fighting. I needed space. Baby, that ain't space. That's a sabbatical. Here's the psychology plain as I can make it. Guilt and logistics are heavy. A man living 2 lives needs regular, unscheduled looking blocks of time that you won't question. But he can't just say, I'm going off the grid this weekend, don't call. So he needs you to be the reason he's gone. If you're the reason, you won't chase. If you're the reason, you'll wait. If you're the reason, you'll blame yourself while he's gone and welcome him back with gratitude instead of questions. It's a 3-for-1 deal, and he's been running it on women since before your grandmother was born. The sudden fight before the trip, the blow up before the work conference, the coldness right before the family event he attends alone. Once you lay his conflicts over a calendar, sister, the pattern lights up like a runway. I knew a woman, let's call her Renee, who swore her relationship was cursed because they fought before every holiday. New Year's, her birthday weekend, the 4th of July, every single one, a fight, a disappearance, a reunion. She thought she was the common denominator. She went to therapy about it. And her therapist, a wise woman, asked her one question. What does he get when you two fight? And Renee said it was like somebody turned the lights on in a dark warehouse. What he got was 48 to 72 hours of unbothered, unquestioned, guilt-transferred freedom. Every time, on schedule. The curse wasn't a curse. It was a calendar. So here's what will you do? And this is important because your instinct will be wrong. When a fight erupts out of nowhere and he announces he needs space, don't chase it. Don't fix it. Don't unpack it at midnight. You say calmly, okay, take your space. And then you watch two things. First, how fast the hurt evaporates once he's gone. A genuinely wounded man struggles. A man who manufactured the wound recovers like an actor after the director yells cut. Second, when he comes back, does he come back to repair or just to resume? A real man returns with the conversation. I've been thinking about us, about what I said. A managing man returns with vibes, dinner, jokes, a hug, anything to skip past the autopsy of what just happened. Don't let him skip it. Before we move on, I want to understand what that fight was actually about. And watch his face, baby. A truthful man will dig in with you. A guilty man will get irritated that you're still reading the script of a play he already closed. And here's your reframe, because this sign leaves a specific kind of bruise. You were never hard to be with on the holidays. You were never the reason every special occasion went sideways. The occasions went sideways because a man with a divided life can't afford holidays. Holidays are where women take pictures, meet families, make announcements, deepen roots. Holidays are audits. So the machine produced a malfunction right on time, every time. That wasn't your chaos. That was his cover. And you deserve holidays, birthdays, and ordinary Fridays with a man whose love doesn't need a disappearing act to survive. Now, let's breathe for a second because I know that's heavy. 5 things: the phone that got a bodyguard, the time that got holes, the affection on a dimmer, the invisible seat at his life's table, the fights with a schedule. And maybe right now your stomach is in your shoes because you recognized your own life in 3 of the 5. Maybe you're sitting there doing the math on a man right this second. And sister, before I give you the power move, because there is a power move and it changes everything, I need to handle the thing that's screaming in your chest right now. You are asking, if this is true, what does it say about me that I didn't see it? And I need you to hear me with everything I have. It says that you loved in good faith. That's it. That's the whole indictment. You were playing checkers with honesty while he was playing chess with management. You brought a heart to a strategy meeting. And in what universe do we shame the person who showed up honestly? We don't shame the house for getting robbed. We don't shame the woman for believing the vow. His deception is not your defect. It is not evidence that you're naive or desperate or not enough. It is evidence that he needed a lot of engineering to keep a woman like you. That's the truth nobody tells you. He didn't hide her because you were lacking. He hid her because you were the thing he was afraid to lose. And some men are too broken to deserve what they can't bear to release. Now, here's the power move that changes everything. And I need you to lean in because this is not what you think it's going to be. The power move is not checking his phone. It's not following him. It's not confronting the other woman. It's not the fake page. It's not the friend who just happened to see him. All of that is you doing surveillance on a man you should be evaluating. No, baby. The power move is this. You stop reacting and you start removing access. Calmly, quietly, and without announcement. Here's what that looks like in real life. You don't give a speech. Speeches give him a script to argue against. You simply begin to behave like a woman whose seat is not saved. He texts at 11:47 p.m. after 3 days of silence. You saw it in the morning. Maybe. He wants the benefit of the doubt on another unverifiable Thursday. You're busy that night and you don't say doing what. He picks the scheduled fight and storms out. You don't call. You don't text. You go live your life so fully that your silence becomes louder than his exit. And here's the key. You don't do it with anger. Anger is still attention. You do it with temperature. Warm becomes cool. Instant becomes eventual. Available becomes occupied. You are not punishing him. You are re-rating him. From man with full access to me to man whose access is now pending review. And the beauty of it, you never have to accuse him of a thing. Not one thing. Now let me tell you what happens inside his mind when you do this, because this is where it gets good. See, the man running two lives depends on one thing above all else: predictability. You are the stable box, the reliable room in the house. He manages her with novelty, and he manages you with routine, and the whole machine runs on the assumption that you will always be where he left you. Emotionally speaking, the moment you remove access, you don't just change your behavior, you break his model. And men like this are not built for a broken model. The first thing that happens is confusion. He tests it with a small bid of, "You good?" text. When that doesn't get the old response, confusion turns to audit. He starts replaying. Did she find something? Did somebody tell her something? And now the man who had you on a dimmer is obsessing over your dimmer. The spotlight swings. Loss aversion kicks in. And hear me, loss aversion is the strongest force in a managing man's psychology. He can handle wanting something. He cannot handle losing something he thought was secured. His ego doesn't crack because he loves you. Not at first. It cracks because the system is failing. And that's fine, sister. You don't care why the truth starts surfacing. You just need it surfaced. And here's the fork in the road. The part where his character gets revealed without you lifting a finger. One of two men walks out of this. The first man, and they exist, baby, they do, feels the shift and gets scared straight. He comes to you not with vibes, but with words. He confesses or he corrects. He brings proof where there used to be fog. He restructures his own behavior because losing you is suddenly more expensive than his side life. Now, whether you take that man back is your business and your prayer life, but at least you finally met the real him, the one who only tells the truth when the truth is cheaper than the lie. The second man does something even more useful. He panics and he exposes the machine. He over-explains things you never asked about. He gets angry at your calm. So what? You're seeing somebody now? And baby, that's projection talking. And projection is just confession with a guilty accent. Or he simply lets you go, barely fights, because maintaining the other life was always the priority, and you were the amenity. And I know that one stings. But hear me, ain't A man who lets you walk away without a fight was never holding you. He was storing you. You didn't lose him. You located the exit he was hoping you'd never find. Now, here's where most women mess up the power move. So listen carefully, because this is the difference between it working and it becoming just another fight. Mistake number one, announcing it. I'm done chasing you. You can have her. Baby, that's not a power move. That's a preview. The moment you announce, you hand him the manual. Now he knows exactly which buttons you're watching, and a managing man with a manual just becomes a better manager. Silence is not passive. It's a spotlight. Everything you refuse to explain becomes something he has to investigate. Let him wonder. Wondering is work, and it's time he did some. Mistake number two, doing it as a bluff. If you remove access on Tuesday and melt on Thursday because he sent one decent paragraph, you haven't shifted the power. You've confirmed that your boundaries have a 48-hour return policy, and he will file that. He will bank it, and the next disappearance will be longer because now he knows the exact price of your return. If you do this, you do it as a woman who has already grieved the relationship privately, not as a woman hoping he'll chase. Hoping he'll chase is still chasing. You're just standing still while you do it. Mistake number three, using it on the wrong man as a test. If a good man, a genuinely faithful, maybe clueless but honest man, suddenly feels you go cold, he won't play chess. He'll just get hurt. So discernment first, always. This move is for the man whose pattern has already testified against him. The phone religion, the time holes, the dimmer, the invisibility, the scheduled fights. You don't need all five, but you need a pattern, not a mood. One weird week is life. A repeating system is a lifestyle. And sister, while I'm warning you, here's what not to do with all this knowledge. Don't become the FBI. Don't lose 6 months of your life building a case file on a man who isn't worth 6 minutes. The signs are not there for you to prosecute him. They're there for you to release yourself. You are not a detective. You are not a warden. You are not an auditor of a grown man's character. You are a woman, and a woman's job is not to gather enough evidence to finally be allowed to leave. Your discomfort is enough evidence. Your diminishing peace is enough evidence. The fact that you had to watch a video about whether your man is hiding somebody, baby, that's data too. A woman in a solid love does not find herself here. So don't let the hunt for proof become the newest way you abandon yourself. The goal was never to catch him. The goal was to free you. Let me tell you about one more woman. Let's call her Angela, because Angela got it exactly right, and I want you to see what right looks like. Angela recognized 4 of the 5 signs in a man she'd loved for a year and a half. And Angela didn't confront him, didn't check a thing. She went quiet, not cold, quiet, and she started living. She rejoined her Saturday morning run group. She stopped cooking for 2 on his schedule. She answered his texts warmly, briefly, and hours later. It took him 11 days to notice, and when he did, he came in hot accusations, suddenly available, suddenly curious about her every move. And Angela told me she sat across from him at dinner, watching him audition for the role of concerned boyfriend, and she felt nothing, no victory, no revenge, just clarity, sitting in her chest like a stone that had finally stopped rolling. She said, I realized I wasn't even angry. I was just done believing the version of him I had to squint to see. She left that relationship without a single confirmed fact about another woman. And she told me it was the cleanest exit of her life because she didn't leave a man. She left a pattern Patterns don't beg you to stay. Patterns don't cry at the door. There's nothing to negotiate with a pattern. It just ends quietly the day you stop participating in it. That's available to you. That exact peace. Not the drama, not the showdown, not the viral confrontation. Just a woman who watched, understood, withdrew her access, and let the truth reveal itself in the space she stopped filling. Now bring it all the way home with me, because I want to leave you with more than a list. I want to leave you with a spine. Somewhere along the way, somebody taught you that your intuition was an inconvenience, that your questions were nagging, that your standards were demands, that your need for consistency was neediness wearing a costume. And I am here today to hand all of that back to whoever sold it to you, because it was never yours to carry. Let me tell you what you actually are. You are not asking for too much. You are asking the wrong person. You are not too emotional. You are emotionally fluent in a house that profits from your silence. You are not paranoid. You are perceptive, and you kept getting talked out of your own accurate report. You are not hard to love. You are expensive to deceive, and he was paying in installments. You are exactly enough. You have always been exactly enough. And the proof is in the engineering, because a woman who was easy to replace would have been replaced, not managed. So here's your phrase to carry. The one I want sitting in your pocket the next time his phone goes face down, the next time Thursday gets complicated, the next time a fight breaks out right on schedule. Say it to yourself in the mirror if you have to. I don't chase clarity. I am clarity. I don't chase clarity. I am clarity. A woman who is clarity doesn't interrogate, she observes. Doesn't beg, she measures. Doesn't audition, she evaluates. And when the pattern fails the audit, she doesn't explode. She exits calmly, completely. Like a woman who knows that her piece is not a bargaining chip. It's the whole treasure. And listen, before we part, hear this last piece, because I don't want you leaving here afraid of love. For every man running two lives, there is a man out there praying for one woman to build one life with. A man whose phone lies face up because there's nothing in it that would wound you. A man whose Thursdays are boring and verifiable and yours. A man whose affection doesn't flicker because it isn't divided. A man who introduces you with his hand on your back and pride in his voice. A man who would never trade a holiday with you for anything on this earth. That man is not a fantasy. He is the standard. And every day you spend squinting at a managing man's patterns is a day you are invisible to the man who's actually looking for you. That's the real cost, sister. Not the betrayal, the delay. So walk out of this moment differently. Shoulders back, standards up, intuition on the payroll, never again on probation. You watch the phone, you watch the calendar, you watch the dimmer, you watch the frame, you watch the fights, and you never again talk yourself out of what 5 separate witnesses already told you. You are the table, not the chair. You are the prize, not the participant. You are a woman who knows. And if this hit your spirit today, drop a heart in the comments and share this with a sister who needs it. Because somewhere right now, there's a woman staring at a phone lying face down, wondering if she's crazy. And you might be the one who hands her the words. Sometimes the best thing we can do for our sisters is say, here, this is for you. Now go on. Carry yourself like a woman who already knows, because baby, you do. You always did.